Stream Girls is a combination watershed and angling education program primarily for middle school girls. A lot of Girl Scouts take the program, but we've also had interest from just girls in after-school programs. So it's really meant to get girls outside and give them a new perspective on science, a new perspective on what they can do in their community streams, and tie flies and go fishing, and really about having fun, but also learning about what goes into being stewards of creeks and rivers.
So Stream Girls is a weekend-long program where girls get to make an intimate connection to their stream. It's facilitated by typically TU volunteers or other partner organizations that take the girls through these 8 core activities. And those are stream walk, fly casting, fly tying, macroinvertebrate survey, stream station scavenger hunt, and then they also do some reflection and discussion throughout.
There's an underrepresentation of women in Trout Unlimited, and a big reason for that is how intimidating fly fishing can be to get involved in at a later age. So what's really cool about Stream Girls is that they're exposed to it when they're very young, and that gives them a lot more confidence to return to it as an adult.
STREAM stands for Science, Technology, Recreation, Engineering, Arts, and Math. And it comes at a crucial time in girls' lives when they're in middle school, when they begin to lose interest in science and math. And so this program was developed to bring interdisciplinary learning outside of school to girls at this age.
So Stream Girls is a program that fits really well with 2 of our program pillars in Girl Scouts, STEM and outdoor. With having the STEM component of it, gets girls thinking a little bit more confidently about participating in STEM activities and gets them feeling more confident about being outdoors as well. They're talking about, oh my goodness, I want to go fishing, or oh my gosh, did you guys see that when we were doing the pond study? That really gets the girls just talking a lot more about issues in their environment, gets them more passionate about outdoors, and gets them more passionate about STEM.
I found 3 snail shells.
And you want to put it against the grip because you don't want it to move. Okay, this is my 2nd year volunteering for Stream Girls, and I think it's a wonderful, wonderful program. It gets young girls out into the environment so they can enjoy nature just like a lot of boys do. They get to learn about stream velocity, they get to learn about water quality, they get to learn about fish habitat. It's just a really, really engaging program to get the girls out into the outdoors. But I would have loved to have gone through something like Stream Girls. I love fly fishing. I liked fishing, but I love fly fishing.
You know, Stream Girls really aims to bridge the gender gap in STEM subjects and really instill a lifetime of wonder and curiosity around their water resources.
We are Stream Girls!
They had teeny tiny little baby crayfish, and they were the best thing you've ever seen.
I made this little woolly bugger. When I get home, I'm definitely going to use it.
Each core activity is meant to be kind of based around inquiry-based learning, and so the girls kind of bring themselves through these activities around the stream. So the stream walk is their first exposure to a community stream. They spend a lot of time looking at wildlife, the plants. We talk about the riparian zone. They look to see if there's any human impact in the area, but it's really a chance for them to kind of look deeper into something that maybe they've looked over before and haven't really noticed all the details. So it's really an immersive experience. They get their feet wet, they get to touch things, smell things, feel things that maybe they didn't know were there before.
So this riparian zone is mainly forested, right? And what about the sunshine that's landing on the river? Is there a lot of shade? There's a lot of sun?
There's a lot of both. Yeah. A lot of shade. More shade than sun.
Yeah, and why do you think that is?
Because there's a lot of trees.
Exactly. So we know the water's pretty cold right now, and we know that's good for trout, right?
Yes. Not good for us, though.
1 second. So that shade is keeping this water nice and cold for the fish.
It's a little bit of an assessment. but it's more, they're really describing the characteristics of the stream. What's the stream side vegetation like? What is the bottom composed of? Do you see trash? Do you see, so do you see evidence of animals? So it starts with a stream walk. It then moves into a couple of different activities. One is called Go with the Flow. They essentially will mark off a 30-foot section, and they'll find that midway point in that 30-foot section. They'll then do a series of measurements. They'll drop a ping pong ball, and they'll do a series of floats with the ping pong ball, and they'll time it from the top of the section to the bottom. They'll then do several depth measurements, and after they gather all of those measurements, they put them all together and they average it out, and that will give them what kind of CFS is moving down this stream today. So that gives them a snapshot of flow. And again, like I said, really good for mathematics, a little bit of engineering. They get to work with the tape measure, they get to work with time, and it really teaches them yet another aspect of the program that scientists actually use to tell them what's going on here on Rum Creek. So that's Go with the Flow. There's a thing we call the stream scavenger hunt, where they go around the stream and they flag out the 9 ingredients that comprise a healthy stream. And then they kind of do a report back to the volunteers and staff.
While you're going through your activity, we have flags that have the 9 elements of a healthy stream. You guys will look at these names, like rocks and wood and trees, and find examples of all of these 9 elements, and you're going to flag them as you find them. A riffle is an area where the water breaks on top. Okay, so the water flows over. Exactly, yeah. So there are cobbles, and that provides a lot of oxygen to the trout that are living in the river. Do you want to flag?
The girls go out and identify 9 ingredients of a healthy stream, and then they make a bracelet or a pin to take home with them. That's kind of a keepsake, so they get to remember their experience. They can share this with other Girl Scouts. They do this thing called a swap, so they can kind of share their experiences that way.
So one of our teams, one of the other Girl Scouts, found this dragonfly larvae in the stream. So what happens is, the insect is in the river, it grows bigger and bigger and bigger. When it's ready to take on its adult form, it crawls up on a rock, or in this case, a tree, and it kind of like leaves an exoskeleton and has wings as an adult. Okay, so you guys can pass this around.
Yesterday and it's still wet.
Whoa.
Don't drop it. I had to get a new one. That's what I did.
So the macroinvertebrate survey is a look at the kind of hidden life that's in a stream. We go into the stream and do some kicknet sampling, we do rock rubbing and leaf pack sampling, and we use citizen science protocols to do this, so they get to look at the stream as a scientist. And then we take the samples back to the shore, and they spend a really good amount of time very closely looking at the morphology of the insects, sketching them, identifying them using a dichotomous key. And then we actually do a macroinvertebrate calculation to see how healthy their stream is. And so this is usually a pretty revealing moment for the girls, because most of the time we can see that we have a very healthy stream on our hands by measuring how many mayflies, stoneflies, and caddisflies we find.
It's a dragonfly.
The dragonfly, his gills, so this is his abdomen, this back end, and he actually breathes through his gills are right here at the end. Lulu had a dragonfly on her hand earlier, and we saw a little bubble come out of its back end, because that's where he breathes. That's a dragonfly larva.
And that pairs nicely with our fly time, because it gives the girls a sense of, okay, these bugs live in the stream, trout eat them, here's what the angler or the fly fisher ties to replicate them. And so we do fly tying. Fly tying is a lot like casting in that if you can break it down, you can use a lot of different colors, you can have volunteers who understand the very basics, and they also understand that it's not going to be a masterpiece. It may not be a fly that the girls are going to actually end up fishing. It could be bright purple and bright pink, and really we do it because we've done macros. We've looked at the bugs in the stream. We've taken a look at mayfly nymphs, and then we've shown them what the fly looks like for that, and then they get to go over to a tying bench and maybe not tie a mayfly nymph, but they at least get the they get the kind of process of, wow, found this in the stream. Here it is in a fly box, and here we are trying to reproduce maybe a Helgermite or something like that at the tying bench.
I was expecting it to be like you take a literal fly and you tie it to a piece of string. Yeah, I thought we were gonna use real flies. Yeah, and I thought.
For the Stream Girls program, it's all about fun. It's all about getting them exposed to what fly tying is. Having some success, making sure that they all feel good about the experience, so that they might come back to it later. And then if you get to have them use their fly and fish with it, all the better. So that's a little bit more about fly tying and Stream Girls.
Fly casting and fly tying are obviously fly fishing related, and it's really an exposure piece for the girls. They get very basic instruction on how a cast works. It gets them excited about a sport that they can enjoy for a lifetime. And it's also really fun for our volunteers because they get to pass on this knowledge and kind of mentor the girls in these subjects that they're really passionate about.
Pause, now. There you go. Pause, now. Okay, now let's do this. When you pause, we're gonna pause at 1 o'clock, so right there. I'm gonna put my hand there. Try not to hit me. Okay. There! Pause a little longer. Pause. There you go. Pause. All right.
The ultimate hope in the beginning in 2012 and 13 was that it would have a fishing, that would be the capstone, that all the activities would lead up to a fishing trip. But I think what we've learned over time is that you're not guaranteed to have a place to put the girls where they can be successful as anglers. And in some places where we've done the program, the stream doesn't have trout in it. It's a good cold water stream, and it's good for macro sampling, but it just doesn't have fish. And so it's kind of a combination of, do we put them in a van and take them 45 minutes or an hour and have them fish a pretty complicated stream and have that be their experience as a fly fisher, and then they go, I'm lousy at this, and so I don't want to do this anymore. Or do we get them out on a pond and let them catch some bluegill or some panfish and let them have, the tug is the drug kind of thing. But not every place is conducive to that.
As part of the Stream Girls program, we like to take an opportunity for the girls to fish. It's not required, but we do enjoy doing it because they can take what they've learned with the casting and learning about insects in the streams and the lakes, and then apply it to fishing. When we have done this in the past with girls, they've had a really positive reaction when they catch the fish, and they're learning a lot about the techniques and what works to catch the fish. So it just helps them to kind of get that hands-on learning experience, and we believe that having that experience will hold on longer for fishing and recreation for these girls after they leave the Stream Girls program.
So reflection and discussion are also two of the core activities that we do in Stream Girls. These pieces are really important because they really solidify the experiences that the girls have had that day. They get to reflect on some new or surprising experiences that they've had. It also gets them to think a little bit deeper and kind of connect the dots with other areas of their lives that they may not have thought about before.
The biggest barrier to Stream Girls is just jumping in and getting started. And once you have a core group of people interested in Stream Girls, go for it, because it's really, there's nothing in the Stream Girls curriculum or in the materials or in the program that pretty much any volunteer couldn't learn and then teach to others. And so in that way, it's a completely accessible program. Nothing in it is, if you can work a stopwatch, if you can, look through a magnifying glass and tell if the gills are on the abdomen or if they're up, you can help teach Stream Girls. And so in that way, it's not one of these programs where, I better, polish up on my fly tying. If you can tie some thread and put a piece of yarn on and show a girl, just how to get some hackle on a hook, you can teach Stream Girls. And so in that way, it's a great program because it's not a big resource program. You don't have to have Like a lot of other STEM programs, you have to have a laboratory, you know, let's make robots, let's do computer programming. It's got a lot of, you know, overhead to it. Where Stream Girls is basic. It's basic, but it still has impact, and I like that aspect of it.
We just wrapped up our second overnight weekend Stream Girls camp. We're at Camp Anna Barons in Michigan, and the girls had a fantastic time. We learned how to fly cast, did some fly tying. We explored the Flat River and its water quality and the insects that live in there. And we're so excited to bring this program to Girl Scout troops and TU chapters all across the nation.